Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, April 17th, 2019. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Today it's in the whatever mug. That's hot. Hold on. Try that again. Oh, that's really good. So, on yesterday's show, I ran out of coffee. Like that cup of coffee you saw me drink was the last cup of non-decaf I had in the house. Ooh, scary, right? Just running out of coffee. It's not a good thing. Oh, this thing feels jittery today. Silly YouTube. So I went to the store and I bought more coffee. Now we're really lucky here in Vermont, and I've talked about this before, that we have an amazing microbreweries and distilleries and somehow even vineyards and coffee roasteries. And that's pretty cool. So this is from Vermont Coffee Company, which is based, if I remember correctly, in Middlebury, Vermont, on the western side of the state. Fun fact, Middlebury geographically is like 40 miles from me and takes an hour and a half to get there because of roads. And in Vermont, we don't know how to make roads that go east to west because there are mountains in the middle. So you have to go north and then south and then north and then south. It looks like the people who designed the roads were really drunk. Maybe they were, because we have all those microbreweries. But anyways, this is some manner of single-sourced, light roast, jungle coffee. I don't know. It's really tasty. Fun fact, did you know that dark roast coffee has less caffeine than light roast coffee? It cooks the caffeine out of it. I bet some of you didn't know that. Honestly, I prefer the flavor of dark roast coffee, but wanted to mix it up because that's usually what I get. So I hope you're all having a good day, good morning. I hope your Tuesday went awesome. I had a pretty good Tuesday. A bunch of meetings, met with some whistlekick advisors, had an acupuncture session with my friend Josh, who's awesome. Went to the gym, sent about 4 million emails. I'm exaggerating. It was like 3 million. What else did I do? Kat, what did I do? She's not answering. It was a good day. Went to bed at a reasonable time. Slept well. I mean, just what more can you ask for, right? I'm enjoying watching the live viewership on this show tick up. For a long time, nobody watched live. Then we get like one person, and it was usually Scott. Thanks, Scott. And then sometimes go 1 to 2, and now we're pretty steady at 3. So I don't know who all is watching live, but thank you. And yesterday, I think we even had 4 people watch live, so that was cool. And then the numbers after keep ticking up as well. It was a long time watching, the numbers on this show. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Scott. That the folks watching within 24 hours, it was like 5 people or 9 people. And now we're steadily into the mid to high 20s. It's amazing. And then we get people on the podcast side. So at any given time, any given episode, we get something like 40 plus people having a cup of coffee with me in the morning. I think that's awesome. I really do. This show has helped me set my intentions for the day and think clearly without coffee. I mean, honestly, I don't need the coffee anymore. I like it. I'm still going to drink it. Because, what would the show be without a cup of coffee? Oh my God, so good. Yeah. So, viewer question came in on yesterday's episode. And this one's kind of a fun one. So, props to person with user handle that I can't quite say. Because it was a sequence of letters that I'm not sure how to form into a word. What personality traits do you think make a good martial artist? Wow. Now, there's a couple ways I can answer this. What sort of person will do well in martial arts? Or what sort of person, once they have attained these personality traits, can you say is a good martial artist? Where's that in my teeth? Apparently I did a poor job brushing my teeth last night. That's disappointing. Anyway, I'm going to answer both ways because one of those ways is pretty simple. Okay. What sort of personality traits make a good martial artist? What sort of personality coming into martial arts will make someone good at martial arts? Pretty straightforward. A willingness to change, a willingness to grow, to learn. And those are all slightly different, but kind of from the same heart. It doesn't matter if you're strong or mentally strong or necessarily dedicated when you start training. If you're willing to change, it'll work out. Because martial arts is different for everybody. And, everyone watching, everyone listening, we could all attend the same martial arts class and get something different out of it. And that's beautiful. And so I think a lot of people would say you've got to be dedicated. Oh, hi, Frank. The person who wrote this question is named Frank. All right. It's a great question, Frank. Appreciate it. A lot of people would say dedication. And yeah, being dedicated helps. It helps your martial arts journey. But it's not necessary because you can be dedicated to your training without a willingness to change. And many of you have heard me say this before. My definition of martial arts is personal growth through the lens, the perspective of combat. That personal growth is the important part. And if you're not willing to change, doesn't matter how hard you go, how many times you go to class, you can be dedicated to learning the movements, but if you're not going to change, if you're not going to grow as a person, it's not going to happen. Now, on the other side, the other way we can look at that question, if we were to say someone is a successful martial artist, let's say they've been training for a while. Yeah, and Frank's saying it sounds like humility is pretty important. Yeah, I would say humility comes along with that. In order to change, you have to accept that there are ways you can improve. And a lot of people don't accept that. A lot of people think that they are perfect the way they are. And you know what? Props to them. That's never been me. I've always wanted to get better, even at the things that I think I'm really good at. I think there's more out there. So let's say you've got someone who's been training for a decade and they've got a black belt. Maybe they're a, something degree black belt. And we take a look at them. We say, this person is a successful martial artist. What can we expect to find? We can expect to find they're likely dedicated to their training, that they have some humility, they have some confidence, which can be a hard thing to navigate between the two. They are probably, at least to some degree, selfless, probably a little more selfless than when they started. They're willing to help other people grow and change. They're probably learning that as well as patience through teaching others. What else? I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. There's an emotion. Sometimes I think in emotions. There is a strong chance that at that point they are trying to reconcile some things. There's some internal debate going on between where they are as a martial artist, the confident side, with the wondering if they're ever going to feel like they know I don't want to say all of it, but if they're ever going to feel like they really know what's going on. And that's something that I don't know that I've ever really talked about on either show, and something that we don't hear talked about too often in the martial arts. This notion that you reach a certain point in your training and your ability to recognize how much there is to learn exceeds the time that you have to learn it. Anybody who says they know everything about martial arts is obviously lying, because there's so much to know. But there are times when you just kind of look around and you say, I can't learn all this. And when what you've been encouraged to do since day one is to, let's use the term master, to learn, to develop mastery over these disciplines, it feels like a losing proposition. And you might wonder, is there even a point to this? Now, those of you watching, listening, might not have experienced this. And if that's the case, awesome. I know this feeling all too well. And to say it a little more succinctly, the first person, so when I was growing up, I was in the very first crop of martial artists at this school, this karate school. I was there day one, and I'm the only person who still trains. And I'm pretty proud of that, 35 and a half years later. But the first person who earned a black belt, I mean, he was awesome, very dedicated. His name was Gene, great guy. And I remember when he earned his black belt, I was pretty young. I was 8, 9. And I remember my mother asking him, what does it feel like to have a black belt? And he said, not in any kind of ironic way or anything, but genuinely, you realize how much you don't know. And that's really stuck with me. And I've experienced that. And I've heard others say that same thing in different ways. So, that internal conflict can leave people frustrated. But the ones that seem to work through that are those that recognize that the value is in the process, that it's not a goal. It's not, I'm going to learn everything, I'm going to be the best, I'm going to master this style or these styles or whatever. It's recognizing that the growth, the personal growth, comes from the process and the acceptance that that path is never finished. That's my thought anyway. Well, this went in a weird direction. Thanks, Frank. I appreciate these questions. I like, they make me think. They challenge me. That's great. If you want to leave a question, the best place is right here below on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because we do these shows every weekday morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern. But of course, you can catch it later on your podcast feed or at firstcupwithjeremy.com. New episode of Martial Arts Radio coming out tomorrow. I don't remember what it's about, because I never remember what they're about, because it's morning. So hopefully you'll check that out as well. As you go through your day, there we go. Here's your homework. I want you to recognize, I'm not even saying change it, just recognize where in your life you are driving towards an endpoint and where you are relishing in the process, accepting or enjoying. Probably doing both. Both are okay. But I think there's more contentment, more joy in the process. Something I need to work on for sure. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Peace.